the career fairs or career service fairs are quite popular actually at TUM. There is a fair called Ecom. Right, and there are a lot of companies for almost a week. Different companies, big companies like, I don't know, let's say Infineon comes, Google came, Amazon came.
So the next question is, what is the learning format at TUM? Is it like a big group or like a small group? Because for my university it was super small. We only have 6 students in one class.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we may have to differ between lectures, tutorials, and practical courses / seminars, right? So in lectures, there are actually a lot of people. I think in the first semester of informatics, it is around like 1,000 to 1,200 people. Because not only informatics people come to it, but also like business people come from it, like games engineering people come to it, machine engineering people come to it. So the lecture itself is very unpersonal, right? You don't expect the professor to know you. But you always have the chance to ask and talk with the professor after the lecture. So that's also great.
So is it like you need to book the time or when do you?
Normally no. So after the lecture, when it's finished, you can just go down and ask a question directly. They will be there to answer questions. But if you have another question, maybe a specific one or like a longer one, then you have to book an appointment with the people under the professor which aid him in this course, right?
Like, you mean the assistant?
The assistants, right?
Okay.
And then there's next lectures most of the times. They're like practice course, practice sessions, right? And in these practice sessions, there are like 20 to maximum 30 people, more like 20, and the longer the semester goes, it's always less and less and less. Like at the end of the semester, like maybe 10 in the class, right?
Okay.
So in these practical sessions, you actually solve exercises together and can ask the assistant questions. And the assistants are most of the time very capable also. So it's kind of like, okay, you have no contact to the professor, but you have the assistants, which are also fine.
And is your course like always face-to-face or it's hybrid?
So when I was studying, like in the middle there was the Corona. So in Corona we obviously put it online for a time. And then at the end it was like hybrid. Some lectures you attended, some didn't attend. And right now it is more like also like a hybrid solution. But they want you to attend, obviously. So it's like in person, right? But for people who cannot come because of lectures, work, and other things you have to do, they also record the lectures. So you can watch the recordings and attend the lecture that way. There's also a live stream for most of them.
Okay. But they won't say, oh, who doesn't come,
No, you have to attend 0 lectures. But at the end, I think it's very important for social life, for good grades, for just the feeling of being part of university.
To attend classes.
Definitely,
So the next question is, how do your professors or mentors impact your life or your study experience?
So in the beginnings, professors did not impact my studies at all, because big classes, right? You have no personal connection to them at the beginning. But at the beginning, the assistants really helped me. So for example, in the mathematics class, I had a very, very good assistant who helped me guide through problems and exercises, and I even could ask them some questions about my study. Later in the course, especially after the practical course, my professor shaped quite a lot of my way actually. So he later gave me the thesis, we worked on the thesis together, I learned from him how does he do stuff, how does he handle a problem, I was always in contact with his assistants. And then now I'm working at the chair also. So now we're always in contact, and I can like observe what he does, how he does it. Exactly.
So now you are an assistant for that professor.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you get any credits or salaries from it?
I get salary, so I work there. So I think officially the position can be called, I mean in German it's called Hiwi. You could say like research and teaching assistant.
Okay.
Right, so we also do research together, and I help him with some practical courses as assistant also.
So did you attend any school club, university club?
Right, so about student clubs, there are quite a few actually. I think over 100 student clubs in different topics, not only technical ones, right?
Yeah.
There are topics about economics, investing, venture capital, stock market, and also some like philosophical ones, debate clubs, right? I attended the student club WAR. It stands for, it's a rocketry club.
Okay.
And we took part in competitions in Europe and in the US about student club, university rockets. So they do not actually fly to space, because that is a lot of money, a lot of resources, right? Because like to fly to space you need a lot of energy to prepare them. So the goals in these competitions are more like, okay, you have to reach a certain height, exactly, right? And any deviation from that height gets less points.
Okay.
So our team at the rocketry club in TUM, we build a liquid fuel rocket. So this is kind of high tech, not the newest tech. Yeah. But it goes there. And my job, or like our job, was like the electrical and software part, firmware part, right? And about student clubs, maybe in general, I would definitely recommend like joining one if you don't have work, or even if you have work and have time. Because with student clubs, you first of all meet new people, meet very ambitious students, which also help you with your studies, and you kind of like exchange knowledge, you exchange how to do things. You are in a stressful position sometimes. You have like, okay, we have to finish this until next week, and then you kind of work together and you strive to get new things done, right?
Okay. But do you also have a supervisor for each student club, or just students?
So I think officially there are supervisors, but depending on the topic, depending on how big the club already is, they may not be there or not directly in contact with anyone.
So it depends.
But what the clubs often do, especially the rocketry one, they do research with the chairs on a certain topic. So let's say the rocketry club also has a separate branch which focuses on satellites. So to make a satellite, they needed a lot of research done. And for this research, they went to different chairs and they researched together.
Okay. So the next question is, does TUM provide any career service or alumni group to you?
They do.
Yeah.
So the career fairs or career service fairs are quite popular actually at TUM. So once a year, or even like maybe twice a year, depending on your subject and interest, there is a fair called Econ. Right, and there are a lot of companies for almost a week, different companies, big companies like, I don't know, let's say Infineon comes, Google came, Amazon came, and they all come and have like a fair, right? And they're like, hey, we do this, we are looking for you, and you can just talk to them and ask them what are you doing, how, like what kind of people do you need, what kind of skills do you need, and then you can just connect there. For example, I connected there with someone working at Argo AI, I mean, it closed later, but and this person we talked later also. She was like the managing HR person in that company, and she actually pointed me towards what I should do, what I could do, and how my career could be structured. So I think career-wise, the TUM is positioned very well. They had like a ranking criteria for the industry of university, like how many people of your school can find work after finishing, how many find work while studying, and I think TUM was very well positioned.
The next question is, have you ever done any internships?
Right, I have done some internships. First, I think it was in the third or fourth semester, where I applied to a startup.
Yes.
And we did some embedded programming. We used Linux mini computers to localize people inside, for example, a supermarket. And I think working in a startup was really insightful to see the processes which happen during founding a company. You're like, okay, you have like technical issues, and then you have also organizational issues. You're like, okay, we need to expand, we need to relocate, we need to do this and that, we need to find new customers. Who are the customers? And then we talk with the customers. And in terms of projects, you always do smaller projects in university.
Yeah.
But especially for computer science, I would recommend to have your own array of projects, as these are also important when you're looking for a job, right? They want proven practical skills of you over some grade you have achieved. And I think what TUM excels in is like especially Europe, the founding mindset, right? They want you to found companies, they want you to be like an entrepreneur. Okay, they really push that, and they have also additional institutions around university which enable these things. They have courses, they have competitions, prizes, mentoring.
Okay. The next question is, what has been the most challenge for you so far in your academic journey?
I think if you just go back, the work-life balance was probably the most challenging thing for me. But apart from that, probably finding a flat in Munich.
Oh, finding a Wohnung.
Yeah, a Wohnung, exactly, was very challenging.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you should maybe apply to the Studentenwerke to get a student dorm, right? But if you want to live with friends, like in a WG, it's very difficult. I mean, there also exists a shortage of flats in Munich anyway. And then when you're students, some tenants tend to not give it to you because you're students.
Yeah, because they check your salaries, right?
Right. And even if you like say, hey, okay, if we can't pay the rent, like my dad can pay it for me, or like if anything happens. I think it's called Bürgen in German. I'm not sure what it's in English, but so they can jump in if anything happens. But they don't accept it either because students don't tend to be there too long, or students tend to be very active, right?
Okay.
Like I don't know, they might have some smaller house parties. They might have not the cleaning techniques of like adults or something, right? So it's difficult. And next to all those difficulties, the rent in Munich is also very high.
Yeah, this I know. I would like to ask some advices from you for other students.
Yeah.
So in general, do you recommend people to apply for this program?
So if you are interested in computer science, I would definitely advise for applying, especially inside Germany and Europe. Of course, you shouldn't just apply to TU Munich. You should apply to various different universities.
Yeah.
Like I would definitely go with the United States. You can apply to Stanford, you can apply to MIT. You could even apply to like some English ones if you want. Zurich is a very great option, but I think Munich is right there on top, contending with all the other ones. I think in the rankings we should definitely be top 15, even maybe higher depending. So a great choice for computer science. If your goal is to more like just get a job and work, like if you want a study program which isn't extremely hard, almost unnecessarily hard, right? Then maybe I would choose another university.
Like Hochschule.
Not only Hochschule, like just another city, like any is fine. Because the content of your education isn't that much different, I think. But they're like a lot more relaxed. They are smaller class sizes. There are easier housing, for example. And at the end you will still get a good job with all the knowledge you have.
And who do you think can fit this program? Apart from interested in computer science or informatics?
Right. I think this program would fit people, especially people who are very ambitious in realizing their goals. People who want to contribute to society, to the market, to just like to build stuff, to create stuff, right? Because Munich is a perfect hub for founding, for entrepreneurs, right? Munich is a very good hub for technology in Europe. For people who are ambitious, who want to do more than just learn in university and go back home and do it again, right? Who want to actually achieve greater heights, right? I think Munich is a very good place for that.
And is there any suggestion from your side you would like to give to the students who also want to apply for this program?
Well, I don't have any experience with international students, but what I would definitely advise is that they come with some basic education in computer science. It is not mandatory. I mean, I didn't have a very thorough, in-depth knowledge about it. But the more you learn before, the easier the getting into university gets. Like in the sense of like once you start, you're not overwhelmed by all the things going on. So you don't have to study like 60 hours a week, maybe just 50, who knows. But like what I would recommend is like open courses by other universities, by TUM themselves. I think like there should be a course on Education X, which is called CS50. So if you just Google CS50, there should be a course with C about the basics of programming.
It's an online course.
Yeah, it's an online course. It's open to everyone. It's free also. And the professor who gives the lecture has a very, very simple, not very technical in the sense of it's not dry. It's very joyful. It's visual, right? They get into different sorting algorithms. They learn the basics of programming. What is programming? And the learning curve might be a bit steep, but it starts low enough that everyone, like even if you're 14, 15, 16, it doesn't matter. You can just start.
Okay.
Right.
So to learn some basic knowledge first.
Right.
And maybe apart from that, also for international students, it's important to learn German first.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one thing I would definitely like to share, especially with students starting out, is to always be consistent in the studies you do while learning.
Can you give an example?
So, I mean, the semester has 12 weeks, around 12 weeks, 12 to 13 weeks, right?
Yes.
And every week you have lectures, you might have exercises, and you do them. And if you stay consistent and do it every week, so if you don't fall back on lectures, if you don't fall back on the topics, then your exam phase is a lot easier. So you don't have to study for months every day until you pass out. It's more studying, of course, but it's a lot easier also.
Okay. So thank you for Orkun to come here today and share his experience. And I hope this video would help anyone who want to apply for informatics at TUM. So thank you very much, Orkun.
Yeah, also thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.
Okay, so see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.